كما اعتدنا من فخامة
As we used from His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Nasser Fellowship transformed from just a training fellowship, it turned to be a young or youth platform also for all the youth from all over the world. Among the platforms that seek for empowering and training the youth, and after we saw many governors from the youth and undersecretaries were waiting for more youth cadres from Egypt and Africa and the whole world to benefit from Egypt and the experiences that it has. Let's listen to a word from the young people that have attended or were present in the fellowship to know about their remarks and comments. We have Igor Srbisko from Serbia. The floor is yours. أصدقائي المصريين الأعزاء، رئيس الوزراء المصري الدكتور مصطفى مدبولي ووزير الشباب والرياضة الدكتور أشرف صبحي، ممثلين الوزارات السفراء والمنظمين والمشاركين والأصدقاء. مصر وصربيا لديها الكثير من العلاقات الوطيدة التي تجمع فيما بينها على مر التاريخ، وتلك العلاقات قد من خلال التنسيق
strong relations through the non-aligned movement that we participated in last year, and we are working in Serbia on the project to join efforts together and to enhance the cooperation among African countries. Nasser scholarship is gathering young people, leaders of the future. It was inspiring, and our visit to the Suez Canal was great, and Serbia is going to enhance relations with Egypt and with Egyptian colleagues. We got technological experience, and I would like to underline a great idea. The media document that is gathering the young journalists in Africa in general. I'd like to pay a tribute to technological and digitalized systems in Egypt and the progress achieved in different sectors, sport, culture, and others. I would like to invite the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the other delegations to visit Serbia. I thank you for your warm hospitality in our visit to Egypt, and we stand side by side with our brothers and sisters from Egypt and from Africa. Long live Egypt, Africa, and young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Igor. Now we have the word of Mr. Basim Khaled from Egypt. Languages of the world. His Excellency Mustafa Madbuli,
السيد الأستاذ الدكتور أشرف صبحي وزير الشباب والرياضة، السادة السفراء والوزراء. أسعد الله مساءكم.
It was a great honor to be standing here before all of you as a representative for the Arab youth and the world youth in this amazing event, Nasser Fellowship for International Leadership in its 3rd edition. Since the beginning of this event, we had mixed feelings. We were feeling happy and pleased to share experiences and to make connections with friends from all over the world. We were so proud and we felt belonging and loyal to what Egypt is offering of development and excellency. It was a pride feeling for the discipline and development for our security organizations, and it was an impressed feeling of the achievements and the giant projects achieved by the political leadership, and the non-expressed feelings of what we have seen of secrets for this great civilization of Egypt. What we saw through the events and the proceedings of this fellowship was a great evidence for the desire, the vision, and the tendency of the Egyptian country towards much development and fraternity. What we saw was that Egypt is a peaceful country, and it loves peace, and it supports development, and it looks forward to stability, and it proves that Egypt is strong and solid, supports the weak and the friends, and it cooperates in establishment, and it confronts any kind of conflict or being an enemy. Nasser Fellowship expresses late President Abdel Nasser that was a symbol for justice and freedom. Now we're learning lessons, more lessons from the past in order to enhance fraternity and love connections. Nasser Fellowship for International Leadership was a great experience through which we could build connections and relationships with all the attendees, and we overviewed the remarks of the history of Egypt and its distinctive development experience and its future, and to know about NAM, or the Non-Aligned Movement, and the cooperation between its members theoretically and practically. Thanks to all the organizers of this fellowship. At the end, I can say, but I would like to extend thanks and appreciation to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of Egypt, for his sponsorship to this fellowship and his sustainable support to the issues of youth development and women. And I would frankly say that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has offered to the whole world a role model for ideology, leadership, and development. Thank you so much for listening to me. Peace be upon you all from the peaceful land. Long live Egypt, long live Egypt, long live Egypt. Lisa from Gambia. Peace be upon you all. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praises to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. السيد مصطفى مدبولي رئيس وزراء جمهورية مصر العربية، وزير الشباب والرياضة دكتور أشرف صبحي، الحضور الكرام، الوفود والمدعوين وكافة الحضور في هذه القاعة.
Participants in the room.
قد كبرت على أن أكون جزءا من
I grew up as part of the African unity, and I saw some photos that represent leaders of the African unity like Nelson Mandela and others, and I surrendered to the idea of African unity. And this scholarship, when I joined this scholarship and once I started to read about non-alignment movement, that gave me hope with regard to African unity. I believed that this scholarship is going to help many countries, and my country is one of them. This scholarship was reason to visit different critical projects like Suez Canal, and this is a good memorial for me. And we had great events in this scholarship. Egypt is the cradle of different prophets like Joseph, Cleopatra, Nefertiti, and others. Young people here with us so that there is a hope to breathe freely, and there is fairness and patriotism. This is a grant for African continent. I respect your efforts that you exerted and you are still exerting.
جمع الشباب من كافة تلك الدول. تحياتي
We
كثيرا لكم.
had young people from many countries in this scholarship. That's why I thank Egyptian government for this scholarship. We thank Egyptian citizens, Egyptian people for warm hospitality.
ستكون ذكرى خالدة
That would be a lasting memory for me, and I would like to visit Egypt more and more. Long live Egypt, long live Africa.
الفرد من أجل
We
الجميع
are
والجميع
one.
الفرد. شكرا لكم.
مع كلمة كارلي جاش سلطان من كازاخستان.
Good evening everybody السادة الكرام ونحن
Ladies
الآن في
and
حفل
gentlemen, now
ختامنا.
we are in the
لكم التحية بكل اللغات ولكل أصدقائي من
conclusion party. I would like to thank you all. I'm very pleased to be with you, and this is a good opportunity to express my appreciation and deep thanks to the organizers and supervisors of this conference and this scholarship that made this a reality. I know that you all exerted great effort, and I know that you didn't spare no effort for this organization. I appreciate your efforts to offer these opportunities for us all. Unfortunately, the 2 weeks passed quickly. However, the experience we gained and the memories we had will remain forever with us. We discussed different important topics. However, I would like to pay attention to the session we had few days ago on climate change, as the Minister of Environment discussed the climate change issue. It's not related to tomorrow. It is related to past, present, and future. There is no time for statements. We have to walk the talk, and we have to take real measures. We have to understand that this is the future. This is the future of our children and next generations. I would like to thank Egyptian government for hosting COP27 next November. I hope we will meet together in this event. And finally, I wish you all and all my colleagues a fruitful future, promising future. I know that you deserve a bright future, and I hope that you all are responsible for our future. Thank you very much.
In the light of the new Republic, Egypt is moving on different axes, and some previously
تعمل داخليا وخارجيا، والعمل الخارجي من خلال منحة ناصر واستضافة هذا الكم الكبير من الشباب تحت شعار شباب عدم الانحياز وتعاون الجنوب جنوب one for all and all for one. ده يستحق أن نسمع كلمة الأستاذ.
Now we will give the floor to His Excellency the Minister of Sport and Youth to speak about this experience.
in the name of Allah Almighty, Mr. Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, dignitaries, good evening and assalamu alaikum jami'an. I would like at the beginning to thank you all and show my gratitude for coming to the attended to this event, which is being sponsored by the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, His Excellency in person. This censorship reflects the infinite support by the political presidency and for the work of the young people and the youth, because he realizes the importance of enabling them and realizes the importance of their contribution to our future. I'd like also to express my gratitude to the Prime Minister, to Your Excellency, for taking the time to honor us by attending the final session. We need to reaffirm again that your honorable attendance, that the Egyptian state, by government and people, are working for the people and exert all the efforts in order to make use of their effort out of their belief that young people in all communities is a strength, and it represents an ability to pause and face all the challenges and to find all the solutions that will enable us to overcome all the difficulties by relying on their will and their relentless will. What we are about to do today represents one of the important things of the new Arab Republic of Egypt, which is witnessing a new upheaval in everything, and which a great importance has been assigned to the young people, including the Nasser third edition of the Leadership Scholarship, which follows the efforts of the Egyptian government to assist the work of the young people. And this great project in its third and first session was launched in 2019, June, when we received leadership with executive capabilities from all different African countries in their communities, and they're working to transfer the Egyptian experience in establish and create an identity. In the second edition of the Nasser International Scholarship, we expanded our work to include leadership, young people from American, Latin American, the African continent, so as to create a new generation of leaders that can continue on with the construction process and development, relying on the efforts of the young leadership, which can very strongly affect the entire world. And out of this, the leadership Nasser, we have had a leadership movement, which I repeated, out of the Nasser leadership scholarship, we have had the young people leading movement, which exists in a number of countries, which adopted the principles by the founders of the African Union, which calls for the unity and solidarity among the African people, which have supported the African continent in its all march towards giving and towards prosperity. The scholarship in its third edition, which is to focus as a light on the role of the young people in the South-South cooperation in a world that is changing very fast, and relying on the young people as a tool and focus on the role of women. That's why the slogan of the edition was the South and the South cooperation and the non-alignment movement. It's therefore considered one of the very striking examples of interrelationship between South and South, as being one of the important results of SFDs. And in 12 September 2019, it became the day of the UN of cooperation between the countries of the South. The message given by the Egypt through its different occasions and events and activities of young people from the different countries, the message is that we can do it. We can live a decent life by cooperating, working together, and that there is enough place for everyone in the world. We can get united, and we can put aside all differences. We can exert all efforts to build our nations. We can work as one unity behind our government and work together with our governments shoulder by shoulder to go through all the processes of construction so that we can help our nations arrive at what it needs. This cooperation interrelationship between more than 65 countries from the African community and Asia, Europe, and South America and Australia, and in spite of the numerous languages and the different cultural tastes and identities, this gave a very clear message that cannot be confused with anything, that all the young people of the world is one hand and is united. I like to wish you all the success in the world. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for attending, and a good afternoon for you all. Thank you very much. I know that the African Union follow up on the conditions of Egypt, but one day the Mr. Prime Minister Massoud Bouli spoke to the Egyptian people and said that I was a young man in the faculty of engineering and never imagined himself being the Prime Minister until he achieved the kind of success and assumed that unique position. So that the Prime Minister now is here, we need to listen to another inspiring speech to young people, and let's listen to the speech by the Mr. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, the Egyptian Prime Minister. So the floor is his. In the name of God the Almighty, Mr. Dr. Ashraf Sofhi, the Minister of the Youth, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries, my children, my kids, please allow me at the beginning to convey to you the salutation of His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, and his wishes to all of you to be successful in your life. I'd like to welcome you all as guests on the Egyptian land and to express my great happiness to participate with you in the final session of the third edition of Nasser's Leadership Scholarship held in Egypt under the sponsorship of His Presidency, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the Nasser Leadership International Scholarship is one of the important tools that Egypt wishes to carry out and to host it for the third year in succession, to reflect Egypt's efforts and its endeavors to enhance the role of the young people locally, regionally, and on the continent level by providing them with all forms of the support and training, otherwise as empowering them is executive position and to make use of their abilities. And this is exactly what has been acknowledged by His Excellency, Mr. President, in the activities of the young people, youth in all its editions. The scholarship, Nasser Leadership Scholarship, it's one of the techniques of carrying out Egyptian Visions 2030, in addition to being one of the important tools of activating South and South partnership and a roadmap drawing the road for the investment of the African Union in the young people and the principles of the non-alignment movement. It also empowers young people and to give them the chance by the activating young people to get to know each other and interact and build a partnership in different fields, not just at the continental level, but at the global level, as outlined in the seventh fold of the SFGDs. Ladies and gentlemen, the economic relationship between the South countries during the last years have grown as a result also of the South creating a growth rate and performing high economic performance. For instance, the volume of exchange rate between these countries have doubled more than three times since the 80s, and it's expected that the amount of trade exchange will continue to grow under the light of the economic economic partnership and agreement between the countries of the South. And the South-South trade has come to constitute more than 60% of the volume of world trade for these countries. The number of investments, also the Arab investments, have grown also for the emerging economies in the South countries to a very great extent, so that it became more than 20% of the flow of investments in the world. However, this cooperation requires a lot of work and enhancement and support in the shade of the economic changes and variations taking place all over the world, which is considered will be a chance if we can seize the opportunity to create more interactive cooperation and create cooperation among the countries of the area, and to enhance its merging within the global economy to become more effective and interactive. The third edition of Nasser International Leadership on the title of South-South Cooperation Non-Alignment Movement, so that we can sit together at one table and discuss together the lessons learned from the non-alignment movement and its effect on the world in the shade of the conflicts taking place in the different areas of the Kurdistan, so that we can set down the rules for reviving the non-alignment movement and create a new vision that would go along and parallel with the recommendations. We need to take that recommendations will be taken in part and will be submitted to the higher ups in the alignment movement next summit, because they represent a strong power will that would have effect on the current changes in the world. Among this world environment full of concerns, fears, and struggles, the world needs the energy of the young people, their adoptions to the new principles of the non-alignment movement, so as to reduce the voices of NMT and to enhance the voice of peace. And ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my best wishes to all of you to continue to prosper, and we are waiting for the constructive recommendations that will come out of these sessions, and we're going to discuss them on a very wide scale so that we can benefit and carry them out on the world. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody.
It's a great responsibility on the shoulders of the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Egyptian organizations in the coming year to present a more sophisticated and wider scope of the coming edition. We're waiting for you in the coming 4th edition of Nasser Fellowship for International Leadership. We would like to thank all the attendees. We would like to thank His Excellency Prime Minister. We would like to thank also His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Subhi, Minister of Youth and Sports. Thank you so much.